This is AOS Shorts. Get better fast. Hello and welcome to another episode of AOS Shorts. Work is really super busy at the moment, but I still wanted to put out a short show covering all that we know about Malign Portents so far, and I just had to cover all the great news that we've seen come out of the studio preview at the Las Vegas Open this weekend. This show also reflects where I want to see the AOS Shorts website growing over 2018. The podcast will remain focused on succinct tactics and strategy advice for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, but the website is expanding into the Age of Sigmar background and hobby. Over the year you'll find coverage of all the major events, Malign Portents, Legions of Magesh, Daughters of Cain, and summaries of all you need to know about the mortal realms, the people, the places, the cities and the agriculture. Look, expect a crop rotation chart and more. So keep checking out the website as it grows over the year. A couple of final notes before we delve into the show. I've added a list archive to the site to contain tournament lists and packs from events outside the UK. This will hopefully be a complement to the Bad Dice UK archive, and you'll already find lists for CanCon, the first 100 plus player Australian event, and the Australian and New Zealand Masters there. Soon I'll have up the Las Vegas Open lists and then AdeptCon in March. Also, Games Workshop have announced that Warhammer Age of Sigmar will be receiving 2 large FAQs a year in January, i.e. now, this week, and July, with erratas releasing within a couple of weeks of each new battle tome. It's great seeing this commitment to keeping the game clear, balanced and accessible. So on to Malign Portents. Malign Portents has recently been announced by Games Workshop as the major focus for Warhammer Age of Sigmar through 2018. From what we know so far, Malign Portents is a book, global campaign, and so much more. It's an advancement of the Age of Sigmar lore, and an introduction to the realm of death, Shyish. We can expect a number of model and book releases, presumably for each of the Grand Alliances. And at the moment, Malign Portents looks like a fantastic relaunch of Age of Sigmar. So what is Malign Portents? Well, it's a season of new developments to deepen and expand Warhammer Age of Sigmar. The storyline will run through battle tomes and publications this year. Already, Games Workshop have released a series of Warhammer TV videos, Warhammer Live interviews, and free and downloadable stories from the background team over at the Malign Portents website. These stories are focused on the battle between Nurgle and Death to start, but have also seen mortal humans fighting alongside Death and given an interesting insight into the lives of normal people in Shyish. The Malign Portents website also has a timeline and overview of the mortal realms if you're new to Warhammer Age of Sigmar. As I've said, the story arc is set in Shyish, the realm of Death. From the start, it's important to realise that the realm of Death does not mean that it's the realm of undeath, such as we associate with Magesh. There is such a thing as neutral and good death. Think civilizations that can communicate and interact with their ancestors. Shyish contains hundreds and thousands of underworlds, or afterlives for the mortal realms. However, these are slowly being taken over by Magesh. Magesh is still, shall we say, a little peeved at Sigmar denying him the souls of the champions that get lost to Nagash through the reforging process of the Stormcast Eternals. However, Magesh has a plan and has been studying that reforging process. Also, Nagash has been expanding his influence in Shyish and is distorting the normal balance of the realm. He's commanded Arkan, his most faithful servant, to collect all the Realmstone in Shyish, think like magical black sand, in order to build massive citadels and monuments, not least of which is a colossal inverted black pyramid of vitrified Realmstone. Now, Realmstone is powerful stuff. It can impact the lifespan of those around it. It can sap your energy and decay you, or prolong you. As a byproduct of Nagash's plans, inhabitants of the mortal realms are experiencing weird visions, omens, prophecies and dreams of disaster, with the occasional glimmers of hope. Something nasty is definitely coming. So let's look at the Malign Portents book. The book will cover the story of the gathering maelstrom in the realm of death, and includes new time of war rules for fighting in Shyish, from the life-sapping wastes to interpreting fell omens to aid your army. These have been referred to as prophecy points. The book will cover both narrative and match play, so there should be something for everybody. Now, Malign Portents introduces 4 new heroes to Warhammer Age of Sigmar, one for each Grand Alliance. There's Varus Starstrike, Lord Ordinator, an engineer for fates and destiny as well as war machines, part astronomer, engineer and warrior. You have Keldric, Knight of Shrouds, a betrayer and traitor who turned on his own people by doing a deal with Magesh. You've got the fabulously named Snazgar Stinkmullet, Fungoid Cave Shaman, a magic mushroom-addled visionary, and finally, but not least, Marakar Bloodsky, Dark Oath Warcreen, a charismatic tribal leader of Akshian tribes coming to challenge Nagash. Now, while these characters are named, they're one of hundreds in their roles, so their war scrolls are for generic heroes. The war scrolls have been leaked, but I'm not going to cover them here in isolation from the rest of the book. Let's look at the Malign Portents global campaign, which was recently announced at the Las Vegas Open. It's called Dread Solstice. They've described the Dread Solstice campaign as a choose-your-own-adventure story-style campaign with a branching narrative, where the games you play and the models you paint can be used to decide where the story goes next. Just as the Season of War campaign influenced the Age of Sigmar narrative, so will the Dread Solstice campaign. The campaign runs for 6 weeks from 15 February, in 3 fortnightly chapters. These will tie into the painting competition that we already know about. That painting competition has these deadlines. 10 February was painting a start collecting set to get your army up and running. By the 3rd of March, we'll be adding your Harbinger model. So that's a case of, we can pretty much say that the Harbingers are going to be coming out mid-February, mid to late February. 31 March, finally, is another painting competition in order to complete your force. This is something that we've seen in terms of tick your box, pick the models that you want to add. Finally, before we move off Malign Portents, I'd just like to say that I'm keeping all of the Malign Portents information in one place on aosshorts.com. It's a bit scattered currently over Games Workshop's various platforms. There's the excellent malignportents.com site, there's the main site, there's some Facebook pages, there's Warhammer TV, there's Warhammer Live. So I'm trying to do my best to collate it all into one piece, so you know that you're not missing anything that you need to know about Malign Portents. So let's move on to the next major topic that I wanted to cover. This is Legions of Nagash, inextricably linked with Malign Portents. So, Battletome Legions of Nagash has already been announced and is going to revitalise the Death Grand Alliance. It looks like we can expect the book to arrive in February, maybe late February. It contains all the war scrolls for every death model so far, in quotes, and the rules for 6 allegiances, including 4 new ones. So what are those allegiances? They are the Grand Host of Nagash, the Legion of Night, the Legion of Sacrament, the Legion of Blood, Soulblight, and General Death. Each of the new legions corresponds to a Mortarch, or Nagash himself, and each allegiance, while using a mixed pool of death units, will feature its own unique in-game mechanics and abilities. Now, a large number of the War Scrolls have leaked due to an early update of the Australian Age of Sigmar app. I won't be covering them here because I don't believe there's much point in isolation from the allegiance abilities and points cost. I'd rather cover everything in one show at the time of release. However, the new scrolls do demonstrate changes to faction keywords, command abilities, summoning and ethereal. So the book promises a big shake-up, which we all know Death needs. So you don't get too worried, because there's certainly a lot of froth out there about the leaked war scrolls. A few locals who I trust and are experts in Death have commented that the changes look like they're returning the Death factions closer to their roots in the Warhammer background. So I'm certainly hopeful for what we'll see with the book. Now, just like with Malign Portents, I'm keeping all the official information on Legions of Nagash, as and when we know it, over on the Legions of Nagash page on aosshorts.com. Now, you have to have been living under a rock not to have seen the epic release videos and pictures for Daughters of Cain that surrounded the Las Vegas Open this weekend. If you haven't, you seriously need to check them out. Go over to the Warhammer TV YouTube channel and just watch the release trailers. They're amazing. So, Morathi. One of the coolest characters from the world that was is back, and the Daughters of Cain are getting a battle tome. Morathi, the Shadow Queen, an outspoken representative of Cain, the bloody-handed elven god of murder, has returned for revenge. But she is no longer quite what she was, or what she seems, having been held captive by Slaanesh. Apologies to Ben Johnson, if I have pronounced that horribly wrong again. Now, I highly recommend you check out Warhammer Weekly's breakdown of the reveal, but the high points are 2 new Medusae units, a combat and a ranged variant. We all know Daughters of Cain need some ranged threat. 2 new Harpy-style units, with a strong, dynamic Sisters of Slaughter aesthetic. Given the wings, we can expect them to add mobility and ability to jump over chaff lines. And finally, what appears to be 2 forms of Morathi. Based on current theorising, one is an illusory elven form, and the second is a transformed, ascended, large serpentine drake form. Now, this second larger form could be her on a mount, or could be Malarian, could be a complete side point. We'll just have to wait and see when the battle tome and the models come out. Now, we've been promised that they're not going to be long, so I'm hopeful that we're going to see some in the coming months. So also, what else is to come? Looking forward, the Las Vegas Open studio preview confirmed that a second elf faction is coming. From my personal perspective, and with no inside knowledge, I suspect we'll get a Moon Clan battle tome this year too. Moon Clan were not in General's Handbook 2017. They have a champion in the Malign Portents narrative, and their models are showing up in White Dwarf battle scenes. So, if I was to go for an informed guess, I think they're a solid choice. Finally, we know that one of the most beloved Warhammer terrain pieces, the Skullvein Manse, is coming back into production. We may even see more Age of Sigmar terrain this year. If you look closely at some of the Daughters of Cain videos, there's a suggestion that we might be getting similar terrain to the easy-to-build kits for Warhammer 40k. We'll just have to wait and see. So, that's it for now. Very short show, but I just wanted to update and try and round up all of these exciting developments that we've got on Warhammer Age of Sigmar as soon and as close to the announcements as I possibly can, and before I disappear under a work mountain. So thanks very much for listening. Get in touch and let me know what you think. As always, the easiest way is to find me on Twitter, or you can get through to the AOS Shorts Facebook page, or you can check out aosshorts.com. As I said at the beginning of the show, I really hope it's going to be a big year for aosshorts.com, and with a massive expansion into the lore and background of Age of Sigmar. Hopefully we'll have articles on there for the history of the realms, the geography of the realms, the key characters, the development of the races, all of this in short, summarised, magazine-style articles, so you can really get to grips with the Age of Sigmar lore as it is, so it's accessible, so you can imagine yourself at the docks of Excelsis if you're a narrative player and that's what you want. Really try and ground this. So I've got some big plans for the website, and I just hope through sort of consistent effort and application it will come true. So as I said, really looking forward to Age of Sigmar. It's going to be a very, very this year. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thanks very much, and bye for now. Cheers.